All right, have not fans. Here's another fun theory in regards to the show, and it has to do with, will Warlock end up owing the tow company? Here's what I mean by this. We know that Candice owes him $1.5 million, and now she only has 48 hours to do so. The bank that she went to, she spoke with Lloyd, who's the banker for Jim Cryer, and pretty much Jim told Lloyd to give her the $2 million loan she's looking for, but with the stipulation that in 15 days, if she doesn't pay back every single cent, they're going to foreclose on the tow company, Benny's house, and Candice's house, which was valued at around $3.5 million altogether. Now, we can pretty much figure it out this way. Jim said, hold the 15-day stipulation in there, almost like, as a hidden gem, to see if Candice is really smart enough to look at it in terms of, hey, I looked over the contract for the loan, but I didn't notice it's a 15-day balloon. My guess is that under normal circumstances, Candice will be able to find the stipulation in there, and Jim's, plan would have been foiled. But given the fact that she's so desperate right now, especially with only 48 hours instead of the original 7 or 8 days, she pretty much has no choice but to take the contract, get the money, and here's how I think it's going to play out. She's going to get the $2 million. She's going to pay Warlock the 1.5, so that leaves her a $500,000 for herself. And again, keep in mind, let's just assume she doesn't catch the stipulation of, if she doesn't pay everything back in 15 days, then she loses both houses and the tow company. She gets custody of Quincy Jr., brings him to the house. Now that she has some money in her possession, she thinks that everything's all right because Warlock's off her back. The only thing at that point that might worry her is the fact that Veronica somehow knew, thanks to Quita, about Quincy's murder in her house. And let's say the time passes by, and then it comes to find out that, oh man, 15 days has passed, and then somebody's knocking on the door, foreclosing on both the houses and the tow yard. Benny's going to be pissed off because, remember, he told Candice not to play around like that. He doesn't want to set up any house for mortgage because, remember, the last time he did that was Hannah's house back in season 1 when he used the money to pay for Candice's hospital bills. And right when they were about to foreclose, that's when Candice got the $100,000 from Jim through blackmail in order to pay off the house. So the last thing that Benny wants to do is be put in the same situation again. Benny's going to be pissed off at what's happened, and by some way, shape, or form, he's going to tell Warlock that Candice originally got $7.4 million from Jim Cryer, because remember, when he first got abducted, Candice lied to Warlock saying that she only got $500,000. She promised him, I believe it was $100,000, $100,000, but ended up giving him $150,000 instead. Moving forward, when Benny revealed that Candice somehow got, a lot of money, to buy the tow company in both houses, Warlock put 2 and 2 together, went over to the house and threatened to kill her, and said, "You got $4 million, right?" And she shook her head yes. I don't know why she didn't just say, "Hey, I got $7.4 million instead," because if she did, life would be somewhat easier, because since she said $4 million, he said he wanted 1.5. I'm pretty sure if she says 7.4, he would probably want him around maybe 3 million or so. But in any case, we know that Candice has pretty much dug her own grave here, because here's how things are going to play out again. Again, she has Quincy Jr., she has $500,000, house is paid off, everything's cool. Then somebody knocks on the door, pretty much forecloses on both houses and the tow yard. Now she has nothing. Benny's going to be pissed off and go to Warlock. They're going to have a talk. And again, Benny might open his mouth about $7.4 million. Warlock comes back to Candice and either threatens her for more money or kills Quincy Jr. Because remember that Erica said it's not going to be a good move to bring her son into that house knowing that Warlock is after her. And even if she does pay him the $1.5 million, if he gets pissed off again, he'll probably kill Quincy Jr. or something just to prove he isn't messing around, especially since Candice lied to him twice already. So with that being said, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that everything's going to play out like I just theorized, in terms of Candice gets the call from Lloyd to get the $2 million, she pays off Warlock, she thinks everything is cool, she has Quincy Jr. in her house, but then eventually 13 days will pass by, everything is going to be foreclosed on, the 2 houses as well as the tow yard. Benny's going to tell Warlock about the $7.4 million, and then Warlock's going to come back for revenge. If I were to make an educated guess, well, you can't really go by the time frame in the show, because think about it. it's been one half or half of the entire season so far, and it's only been 2 days because remember the Harringtons and the Criers got arrested on Friday evening, Friday afternoon, and we learned that in the last episode it's currently Sunday, so it's only been about 2 days. Maybe the second half of the season will be, more fast paced in terms of the time frames of the days, because I feel like Candice getting news that both houses and the tow company being foreclosed on would be a great way to, use a season finale. I really think that would be a cool way to do it because it'll definitely keep you on the edge of your seat. And then, Warlock finds out about the money. And again, I would hate to see Quincy Jr., killed off. But think about it this way. Every time a character is warned about something, it pretty much comes back to bite him. Like Landon warned Maggie about putting the picture in the paper. And now look at her. She's potentially killed off at the end of the season. So again, how do you think that do you think Warlock's going to find out how much Candice really got? Do you think that Benny's going to be the one to tell him? Do you think that Candice will catch the 15-day stipulation in the contract? And really, it goes back to my main question when I started the video: will Warlock own the tow company? I think that after he gets to $1.5 million, he's probably going to buy out the tow company when it finds out it's being foreclosed on. Because I don't know about you, but I didn't really. Seeing Warlock turn sides like that, I did see it kind of coming, given the fact that he did put everything on the line for Candice when he abducted Jim, and then she lied to him about it. But I didn't like the whole, hey, I want to kill your brother Benny if you decide to run away, just because I thought Benny and War were cool, given the fact that, when Benny was talking to Mitch, he's like, yeah, my mom Hannah took him in when he was a kid, gave him clothes, kept him washed, gave him food, and when Warlock started running his, pretty much his lifestyle that Hannah wouldn't approve of, he would put money, just give the young some money when they needed it. So again, it was almost like, a family kind of thing. So again, just to see him kind of like threaten Benny like that, I really didn't like that part of the character. I just hope that he meant it as a threat rather than an action. But given the fact that Erica was talking about how serious War is, he probably would have killed Benny given the circumstances. And then also the fact that he threatened Candice with only 48 hours after she tried to warn Benny not to go in business with Warlock. It just goes back to the fact that Candice originally wanted Warlock to go straight in terms of his career. So it would have been cool to see his street hustle along with Benny's towing company, aside from the drugs and whatnot. I really think those two will work well together. So maybe, just maybe, when Benny's house and tow company get foreclosed on, he's going to go to Warlock. And then Benny's finally going to realize, what his mom's been saying about Candice has been absolutely true, that she doesn't care about anybody but herself. And Benny's going to turn his back on her for good and go to Warlock. And given the fact that Warlock has found out how two-faced that Candice is in terms of lying to him when he put his neck out for him. Remember that Warlock put everything on the line by kidnapping a federal judge, because if Jim wasn't blackmailed to the point where he couldn't do anything to Warlock, he would have shut the whole operation down. They all would have been in jail, maybe worse. And then when Benny mortgaged Hannah's house to pay for Candice's hospital bills, he put his neck on the line for her. Not to mention the whole digging Quincy in the backyard kind of thing. So those two together are like brothers, because I always found Warlock to be Candice's brother from across the way. Like, Benny was her brother, not her blood brother. Well, at least by dad's standards. I felt like, Benny was her good brother. Warlock was her brother that watched out for her on the streets, That's how I felt like those two were really common. That's why I really felt those two had a strong connection. I mean, Warlock could potentially buy the tow company, give it back to Benny, or those two work together. And Mitch, I don't know. I feel like that might happen. And that's why I really didn't like the whole, hey, I'm going to kill your brother if you run away thing. So again, I just extended the theory a little bit longer than I thought. But again, do you think that, if he got the money, the 1.5, and the towing company was foreclosed on, do you think that Warlock would end up buying it and somehow, work together with Benny? But also the main question is about the tow company. Even if it does get foreclosed on in 15 days, will Oscar reroute the phone call so Benny and Mitch get, business? Because if they aren't getting any tows, it wouldn't even matter who's owning it or not. So again, I just want to bring this video to a close now. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Subscribe and share, and I will see you all in the next video.